Hello and good morning, good afternoon and good evening to you, the common people of the tube. Hope you're well today, hope you are feeling grand and all is well in your world. Hello there. Welcome to another Q&A Wednesday, everybody. There's a spider ring on the wall there. Stay away from me, I don't like your kind, even though there's a huge one right there. But he's okay. He's docile. That one might not be. That might be a killer spider from Mars. Anyway. Get it right around. Hello, everybody. So yes, I hope you don't mind no video on Monday. As I say, I've had a bit of a difficult weekend, to say the least. So yeah. Anyway, let's enough on that nonsense. Question one, everybody. Let's get to talking questions and answers. I don't know what about it. My brain is just gone. Okay, so question one today. Can you at some point do a comparison between the Electro Harmonix Double Muff and the DS2? And did switching to the Boss DS2 change the way you play live? At some point, yeah, I will do a comparison between. Hopefully if I get around to it. Yeah, I would like to do a comparison between the Electro Harmonix Double Muff and the DS2. But in all fairness, they're two different pedals. The Electro Harmonix being a fuzz is a lot different to the DS2 being more of a distortion. But I know where you're coming from, because they are very similar, but at the end of the day, the DS2 is the DS2 and the Double Muff is the Double Muff, if you know what I mean. Like, no, never the twain shall meet, so to say. They're very kind of, they're their own kind of thing. They're quite hard to kind of say, like, you know, to compare, because they're two different pedals, really. Although the Boss DS2 does have a fuzzy kind of thing to it. I mean, it sounds, it's got a fuzzy kind of thing to it. It's not really. The Double Muff is a bit more. I can't think of the word, because they're both really smooth, and the response of both pedals is really good on both pedals. The response is amazing, but the Double Muff doesn't have as much gain as the Boss DS2. And it doesn't have the turbo mode. And the turbo mode is what sets the DS2 apart from every pedal in the world. Well, in my opinion anyway. The DS2's turbo mode is what makes it an individual. It makes it stick out and makes it really hard to replicate with other pedals. If that makes any sense. It's the DS2 is kind of like a one-of-a-kind thing. It's like a tube screamer or an Ibanez Wah or any of those kind of like one-of-a-kind pedals. The DS2 is exactly that. When it's on its turbo mode, there is no other pedal that does that thing. That kind of net pickup single coil singy sound. And so when you're on your bridge pickup, it gets really kind of crunchy, but in a really kind of weird mid-way. It's got a very distinctive sound, the DS2. And the Electro Harmonix Double Muff is very much just a fuzz. But it's a fuzz pedal that I think hates being to be run on its own. It has to be run into an overdrive first. And it's one of those pedals that once it's on, you just leave it on. Because you can it gives you the ability to manipulate everything from your volume control. It's just... I don't think I've even demoed the Double Muff. What is wrong with me? But yeah, they're hard to... They don't sound the same. They sound totally different to each other. They really do. They're not the same sound in any way, shape, or form. They don't have the same kind of gain structure. The DS2 has way more gain, and is a lot more unruly if you let it than the Double Muff, which is a lot more controllable. The DS2 wants to go mental, and you have to kind of learn to control the DS2. Whereas the Double Muff will kind of it'll respond in a nicer way. It's a lot more kind of user friendly. It's not as noisy. It doesn't do that. when you turn it on, you know, there's a slight bit of hiss when you turn the double muff on, but, you know, that's to be expected with gain. When you're in a live situation, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever with the double muff being on. You can't hear the hiss. With the DS2, you can always hear that. You know, especially the way I run it with everything maxed out. But yeah, the DS2 is just one of those pedals that, if I'm being perfectly honest, the double muff replaced my DS2 for quite a while. About a year and a bit, my DS2 was replaced with a double muff. I didn't get rid of the DS2, I just took it off my board and put it aside. I kind of forgot what I loved the DS2 for. And it wasn't until I just put it back on my pedal board and started using it again and going out my way to use it, I was really like, whoa, I've missed this so much. And I think sometimes that's a good thing to kind of like, you know, to take a break from certain sounds and certain effects. Just take them off your board for a couple of months or a year or whatever, and then just leave it and come back to it, because it's always a nice, you know, you kind of fall in love with it again, which is really, really cool. And that's what happened with the DS2 for me, is that I use the DS2 so much now. So much so, it's replaced my double muff. I no longer use the double muff pedal live. It's actually in the pedal box over there. I don't actually use it. I haven't used it in a while, actually. I've been, fuzz pedal wise recently, if I've been wanting a fuzz pedal, I've been using the Hubcap John fuzz face, which is one of my favourite all-time fuzz pedals now, along with the double muff. But yeah, I'm actually, you know, I've actually kind of gone away from fuzz and more towards the DS2. I've only got 3 gain pedals now. I've got my Golden Plexi, which serves for kind of like a crunchy kind of clean tone, the Jackhammer, which is my core distortion, and the DS2 goes over both of them depending on how I feel. So yeah, I mean, I could do a comparison video, but like I say, they're very hard to compare because they're both live in a different kind of realm, so to say. You know, they're very kind of very different tonally and the way they respond. But, you know, I mean, in my experience personally, like at this point in time, the DS2 is my go-to kind of fuzzy kind of sound over the double muff. But it doesn't mean I don't love the double muff. I love the double muff. It's one of my favourite fuzz pedals of all time. But at this point in time, it's just not what I'm after, so to say. But yeah, I mean, maybe at some point I'll do a comparison video between that. But I do want to get a video done very, very soon about the DS2, talking about it, demoing it, just talking about its little foibles and all stuff like that. So that'll come first, and then we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, maybe in the future I'll get to that. Well, fingers crossed, hopefully. And also, you said, did switching to the DS2 change the way you play live? No, not really, because the DS2 forces me to play the way I want to play. If that makes any sense. Like for instance, like if I'm doing a guitar solo, I don't like staggered guitar solos. I don't like that kind of, as much as I love hearing people do it, that kind of staggered staccato-y blues thing. I tend to get, if I'm doing it, I tend to get bored of the sound because I just don't. I like my guitar solos to have a flow and sustain to them, and I like to be able to kind of like make it kind of sing in a way. So the DS2 has always been that pedal that's allowed me to do that. No other pedal I've ever played has allowed me to make such singy, flowy guitar solos that I love to hear. Like you know, if I kick the DS2 on now. I mean, this is just the sound. This is the jackhammer. You know, if I want to do a solo, I kick on the DS2 on its own, it just gives me that sustain and the warmth and the ability to just let the guitar sing. You know, it really does kind of sing. you know, it really allows me to play in that way that I love. And immediately when I kick the DS2 on it, it does something to me internally. It just makes me feel what I'm playing so much more. Like, if I want to play like big, aggressive rock things, I'll kick on the jackhammer, and that gives me the bit more. You know, the jackhammer's my aggressive distortion, whereas the DS2 is my milder, singy distortion. There's a difference. If I play the same lick with the jackhammer and the DS2, like this is the jackhammer. Sorry, jackhammer. The governor. Sorry. If I play the same thing with governor and then play it with the DS2, hopefully you'll be able to hear what I mean. So this is the governor. So it's quite aggressive. It's got more of an aggressive sound. The DS2 is a lot warmer, a lot kind of fatter and smoother. There's a smoother delivery that the DS2 has that I love. So I've got like basically they're my two distortions. I've got the governor for aggression and I've got the DS2 for warmth. And when I combine both as well with like the jackhammer or the golden plexi, it just creates just this gorgeous noise. I get the best of both worlds then. So I can have either aggressive from the governor or warmth from the DS2, or I can have both combined together to create a different sound. Because if I kick on the DS2 on its own and then kick on the governor, you'll hopefully hear the sound brighten up a smidge, and it adds a bit of aggression. Adding the governor to the DS2 adds a little bit more aggression. So this is the DS2 on its own, and then I'll kick in the governor. Hopefully be able to hear it. Hopefully you'll be able to kind of like hear that. When I kick on the governor, there's a slight kind of brightness that adds, and it just kind of gets a little bit more aggressive. So yeah, I mean, I've had the DS2 for so long now. I mean, I got the DS2. I had a DS1 for a while, and I didn't like the DS1. I eventually sold it. It never really did what I wanted it to, which is what I found the DS2 did. But I bought the DS1 originally, thinking that would be the pedal. I'd heard John Frusciante used it, so I was like, that was the one. And then I didn't know about the DS2 at the time. You know, this is before the days of the internet, and you could just look these things up. I didn't know, so I just bought the DS1, thinking, yeah, I read an article John Frusciante used the DS1 in a magazine, and that was it. I was like, we'll get the DS1. And when I got it and found it didn't do that off the map DVD sound that I wanted, I was like really disappointed, and I got rid of it. And then I found out about a year or so later on there's a Boss DS2, and I got a DS2 for my birthday. My mum bought me it for my birthday when I was about 17, I think. Something like that. And I plugged it in and put it onto that turbo mode, and I was just that's it. And in all fairness, I think that year and a bit where I used the double muff instead of the DS2 is the only period of time since I had the DS2 I haven't used it. And I've gone back to it now because I just can't live without that pedal. I adore that pedal. It's just unlike anything else. I get a lot of comments saying, like, you know, can I use this pedal to emulate the DS2? Can I use that pedal to emulate the DS2? Can I do this to emulate the DS2? You can get close, but you'll never get 100%. Because the DS2 is its own thing. You'll never ever find another pedal that will replicate a DS2 perfectly, other than a DS2. And it doesn't matter where it's made. Mine are, people have been asking me, saying, like, you know, oh, do they, you know, I've heard the Japanese ones sound better than, like, the Taiwanese ones, or whatever. And it's like, mine are all, mine aren't Japanese. Mine, I think they're made in Taiwan. I think my DS2s are made in Taiwan. Both of my DS2s. The one I was using now is, and I'm pretty sure the one I've had forever is. They just feel, it's like one of the ultimate lead pedals, as far as I can say, and distortion pedal. I love it. It's just one of the ultimate distortion pedals in the world, the Boss DS2. It's one of those pedals that I will never be without, ever. And the one I actually use in here is Joe's, actually. The one I've got on my pedal board is mine, but this one's actually Joe's. But yeah, I love the DS2. But again, like I say, it didn't change the way I wanted to play live. It made the way I wanted to play. You know, it forces me to do it because once it's on, you can't stop. You can't do that BB King blues thing because it does that. So you can't do that. Once it's on, you can't stop playing. So it's up to you to make it work and make it flow. So yeah. Anyway, I think I've rambled on that for about 15 minutes. Wow. Okay, so I hope it's answered your question, and I'm going to move on to question 2 now, everybody. And by the way, I've sliced my finger. If you're wondering what the white plaster thing is on my finger, got careless with a knife while cooking. So oh well. Okay, so question 2. What are your thoughts on Flea and John Frusciante's recent public appearance? Do you think it's a sign? And I think it's wicked. It was great to see Flea and John together. I actually thought it was a picture from years and years ago. I didn't think it was a recent picture. Because I think the last time Flea and John were actually together was on the Stadium Arcadium tour in 2007-2008. So I didn't actually think it was a recent picture. I thought it was just an old one that just resurfaced. Then when I read it, I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. I think it's great. I think it's really cool. And I'd love to have been a fly on the wall, really. It would have been amazing to kind of like, you know, just have a listen to what they were talking about. Because, like I said, I don't think they've been together since the Stadium Arcadium tour. So, yeah. And it's strange how Flea and John will always eventually end up coming back together, not one way or another. They're bound to each other one way or another, whether they like it or they don't like it. You know what I mean? There is something in those two people that makes something else. It's like a higher power thing bringing them together, and always will bring them back together. But yeah, I think it's a great picture. But do I think it's a sign of things to come? No. Personally, no, I don't. I think it was just two best friends meeting up again and having a laugh and having fun. I don't think it was anything other than that, personally. I don't think for 1 second they ever spoke about John rejoining the Chili Peppers or doing anything musically together or anything like that. I don't think it was that. I don't think it's a sign of John coming back to Guitar World, so to say, or Chili Peppers World. You know, I just don't see it at this point in time. You know, it doesn't feel that's on the card, so to say. I mean, I don't know John, and I don't know Flea, and I don't know anybody in that circle. But to me, the way John is right now is I don't think he's interested in that kind of thing. And the way he's spoken in interviews, it seems like he's not interested in that kind of thing. So, excuse me. Yeah, I don't think it's a sign. I mean, I'd like to think so, like all of us would. But I can't honestly, with 100% honesty, think that, like, you know, anything's going to happen anytime soon. Or ever again. I prefer to think it's never going to happen. Because then, if it does, it'll be a nice surprise. And if it doesn't, I'm not disappointed, so to say. You know, I don't think you ever want to kind of set yourself up for thinking like, John and Flea met, so like, you know, he's definitely going to come back to the Chili Peppers at some point. Because if he never does, and the Chili Peppers pack in next year, say, then you're just going to be massively disappointed. I feel it should be kind of like, you know, you just take it for what it is. Two best friends meeting up, having a laugh, and then going their separate ways again. You know, I do feel it's kind of like, you know, it's wishful thinking at this point in time on behalf of all of us John Frusciante fans to think that he'll just return to the Chili Peppers next week or this, that, and the other. And the question is, like, you know, do they even want him back at this point in time? You know, does Josh really want to be kind of like relieved of duty, so to say, so John can come back? It's, you know, it's a lot more complicated than John just kind of going back to the Chili Peppers, so to say. So, but yeah, I don't think it's a sign. Like I said, I don't want to hold out hope that John will come back because I don't want to live in that kind of hope. I don't think it's healthy to live in that kind of hope that somebody like John will return to the Chili Peppers or Guitarland like that. Because, like I say, if he doesn't do it, you're just going to be megally disappointed. And I would rather just have it as a really nice surprise if he did do it, so to say. So, yeah, as far as thinking it's a sign, I don't believe it's a sign of things to come. Like I said, I think it's just two friends. But it's brilliant. It's really cool to see, and it was an amazing picture to see them two together and having having a laugh and just generally just being, and and that's all, being happy, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters in life, really. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's a sign or anything, like I say. But I don't know. We will see. We'll see. Only time can answer these questions. You know what I mean? But like I say, I'd rather not get kind of like all excited and like, oh, he might come back. Because if he doesn't, then you are just living in kind of like constant hope. And when it doesn't happen, you're just going to be megally depressed by it. And it's not healthy. It's not a healthy thing to do. It's just like things will be what they'll be at the end of the day. So let things roll, so to say. So anyway, going to move on to question 3 now. I hope that's answered your question. Question 3, everybody, is how does John Frusciante get that tone during the Blood Sugar Sex Magic solo on the Off the Map DVD? And what's the best budget amp for John Frusciante tone? Okay, so the best budget amp for John Frusciante tone, I'm going to sound like a broken old record here, people of the tube, but there is the Boss Katana 50 or 100, depending on which one you want. I personally love the 50. I haven't tried the 100, but I'm sure I'll love that as well. But there's the Boss Katana series. There's the old Marshall MG series, the MG 100 HDFX or DFX combo. The PV Bandit Red Stripe. The orange CR60, although that's the most expensive. It's not really a budget amp, but you can pick them up second hand fairly cheap. Yeah, so Boss Katana, Marshall MG, the old ones, not the new ones. The new ones, like the Carbon series and the Gold, don't seem to do that kind of thing. They're more modern Marshall. Instead of an old Marshall sound, they're more modern. So they won't do it. So yeah, Boss Katana, Marshall MG, the old ones, PV Bandit Red Stripe, and the Boss CR60. They're the 4 I would recommend myself. I'm getting a really dry throat. I will get a drink in but a second. They're the ones I would recommend on a budget for John tone, because they just nail that kind of thing, and they make the DS2 and the Ibanez Noir behave as well. So they're the 4 I would recommend. Let me just move my amazing MG head chassis seat out the way and get a drink before my throat dries up. Not sure if you heard that. Okay, so yeah, that's the 4 amps I would recommend. Like I say, spoke about it a lot in other videos as well of what amps to, that do the John Frusciante thing and kind of rein in those kind of the DS2 and the Ibanez Noir, which are kind of like the most important John pedals, so to say. So yeah, that's what I would recommend amp-wise. The Blood Sugar Sex Magic Tone, I can't talk today. Blood Sugar Sex Magic Tone on Off the Map DVD is a combination of Chorus, the Boss fuzz pedal. He used the F whatever it is, the FU2 or whatever it is, FZ2 or whatever it is, I don't know. It's a silver fuzz pedal. And the Boss DS2 and his Ibanez Noir and neck pickup on his Strat. I think it's a neck pickup on his Strat. Is it bridge pickup? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's neck, but I could be totally wrong. But it doesn't matter, to be honest with you. Either way, it can be bridge or neck, depending on how you feel. I would say neck, just for the intensity of the wah-wah sound. When you're on the bridge pickup, that you get more of a depth out of the Ibanez Noir on the neck pickup when you've got the DS2 on. Can I demonstrate that quickly? For instance, like if I go to bridge pickup, kick the DS2 on with the Ibanez Noir and do like a crazy kind of double stop kind of thing, on the bridge pickup, it'll sound different to the neck pickup. So this is the bridge, and then the neck, you get a little bit more depth. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear. Let me do one really quickly, just as a comparison. You get more of a scream out of the neck pickup than you do the bridge. The bridge is a bit more, it's not as intense, so to say. Hope that makes sense. But, yeah, the Bloodsugar Sex Magic Solo is fuzz pedal on, DS2 on, Ibanez wah on, and chorus on. I think the only pedal that John doesn't use in that solo is his phase pedal, his phase 90 at that point in time. And it's all in E minor. Yeah, okay, so the solo comes out of E minor pentatonic, so just those notes there. And what he's doing, he's just playing super fast and doing that kind of muting thing. And I bet I won't be able to do it because my finger's in plaster. But he's just going up the pentatonic scale. So, like that. Just going to have to turn the amp down and peaking it out. So he's just doing something like that, but he's strumming it. That's the first solo anyway, and he's kind of doing this. And that it's something like that. I don't actually know what it is note for note because I don't remember. But he's just messing around with that, and it's just shredding. I can't really do it very well because of my finger. But stop complaining, Dave. I'm making excuses. It's that, and then at the end of it, he does these kind of crazy wow sounds, and what they are is this. And what he's doing there is he's bending up the G string on the 14th fret, so, and he's fretting the B string. He's bending up the G string on the 14th fret and keeping his with his middle finger, and his ring finger is on the 15th fret on the B string, and he's only bending up the B string, the G string. Sorry, I'm getting really confused today. Oh, my brain. Okay, so I'm struggling. Yeah, bending up the G string on the 14th fret, and then fretting the 15th fret on the B string and keeping the 15th fret B string where it is. So you're only bending up the G string. So you're getting that. But with the DS2 and the Ibanez wah, and what you do is you kind of like just increasing the wah. With the DS2 it sounds immense. So that's kind of what he's doing, but that's what he's using. It's chorus, fuzz, DS2, and wah. And as anyone knows, I love the fact that in that song on Off the Map, his guitar changes from his Telecaster to his 55 Strat, to his Telecaster, back to his 55 Strat. It's great. I don't know why they edited it that way. I mean, surely it would have made more sense just to keep the actual, thing. I don't understand that. It's just dead strange how all of a sudden they've got more hair and then they don't have they've got some change. But yeah, it's just E minor pentatonic kind of shredding, basically. John Frusciante shredding. That kind of thing. And what you're doing basically is you start with the wah pedal all the way back, so on the really bassy setting, and you're gradually increasing the wah as you go. So it starts all the way back and you're gradually pushing it forward. So all the way back, pushing it. And the DS2 fills in the gaps. that's it. That's what he's doing. That's what he's using. That's how he's playing it, let's say. So that's the effects he's playing. And it's just awesome. I remember the first time I saw that solo, I was just like, I need to know how to do that. And it wasn't until many, many years later of figuring that I finally found out how he does it and what he's doing. And the whole thing of having the DS2 on the other side of a wah-wah pedal instead of having it on this side creates that crazy wah sound, and using chorus and stuff like that. It took a long time to figure it all out. But yeah, that's what John's using. I say it's a combination of chorus, fuzz, wah, and DS2. And neck pickup on a Strat or a Telecaster, either way. That version is his Stratocaster, even though it starts with a Telecaster. That version is his Strat because it all syncs up. But yeah, so that's what that is. Okay, so moving on to question 4 now. I'll be right back to answer question 4. Musical interlude. Is there a musical interlude? I don't know. Okay, so question 4 today, everybody. Hope you like the musical interlude. I have no idea what was going on there. It's probably the weirdest thing in the world, but okay. I know there's definitely weirder things on YouTube than that. Anyway, question 4, everybody. What are the delay settings on the Zoom G2 for Don't Forget Me by the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Right. Well, Don't Forget Me is a funny thing because John would tap tempo it in. You hear him doing it before when Flea starts the bass line. You know, when you hear that, you can hear John kind of doing that kind of thing in the background. You can hear him playing with a delay to get it in time, and he's tap tempoing it in, well, he's either tap tempoing or he's actually dialing it in so it's in time. And the effect, the delay effect is kind of it carries that kind of. You know, it's kind of like a weird doubling kind of thing. When I first saw Don't Forget Me, when I first saw John Frusciante play, I thought he was playing the B and E strings together. Because when I first saw him, I had no idea what delay was. I had no idea what a delay pedal did, or even what it was. I didn't even know it even existed. You know, I had a Squire Strat, Washburn, and a PV Rage. You know, that's all I knew. So when I saw him doing that sound, I had no idea what he was doing, so I thought he was just hitting 2 strings at the same time. That's what it sounded like. So I thought he was just hitting the B and the E. And that obviously never worked out for me when I was trying to play it like that. But yeah, the Zoom has got an amazing tap tempo. So you want to be kind of tapping it in. But the effects parameters I've got set in for Don't Forget Me are the... well, basically, it's on digital delay. And it's set for 1 repeat, just like John. John only ever had 1 repeat on Don't Forget Me. There's not multiple repeats, it's only 1 repeat. I actually prefer to have more than 1, but John just has 1. I think it sounds nicer with more than 1, but that's me. That's me. But this is what John did, and these are the parameters I've got set up. So I have basically the gain dial, which is. The time, I have the time set on 24, but it can fluctuate depending on the version you're playing along to, between 23, 24 and 25. So between 23 and 25 is kind of where you want to set the delay time. The next one along, which is feedback, that's set to 0, so it's just a single repeat. So it's like a slapback almost. So that's set to 0, and then the level, is it called level? No, the mix. And then the mix dial, the far right one, as you're looking at the pedal. So the gain dial is the first one, the tone one is the feedback, and level, basically the level that I've got set to 60. So that's the repeat. So it's a little bit louder than the original signal. 50 is kind of unity, whereas 60 is just a smidgen louder. And it just makes it pop out a bit more when you do that kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I've got set for the Don't Forget Me sound. and that's basically it. So that's what I've got set up for Don't Forget Me sound in the Zoom G2. Well, G2.1U. But like I say, you could always tap tempo it in, but it is somewhere between 23 and 20, 25 and 26. Yeah, somewhere between 23 and 25. That's where you kind of want to be. You don't really want to be 22 or 26. It's somewhere between 23 and 25, depending of the version you're playing. But like I say, you can always tap tempo it in with Flea's bass line or Chad's drums. So before you play, so that's it really. But it's such a cool effect. It's such a cool effect that. And also the delay level, the repeat, being slightly louder than the original signal will make this stick out more. You know, it just makes it pop out more than it would without it. If you turn the delay off, it's, you know, you need that delay to make it kind of stick out a bit more. Okay, so excuse me. So I hope that's actually a question. Like I say, somewhere between 25 and 23 and 25. And then you want the feedback on 0 and you want the level of the delay on 60. Like I say, 50 is kind of unity with the zoom pedals, where on 60 it's a smidgen louder and it just makes it pop out more. Okay, so hope it's answered your question. Moving on to question 5 now, everybody. Question 5 is, what's your opinion on Yamaha Pacifica guitars and when will you do a demo of one? I love Yamaha Pacificas. Yamaha Pacificas are great guitars. I recently had one into... somebody I know bought their partners in to get it repaired and kind of back up and running again. And it's an amazing guitar. I don't think I've played a Yamaha Pacifica that has been rubbish, to be honest with you. They're very, very, very good guitars. And they're great all-rounder guitars. Well, I mean, a lot of people kind of like label them as, oh, they're great beginners guitars, which they definitely are. I agree totally. But they are, you know, I'm sure they would hack it in a professional kind of place as well. You know what I mean? They're built well. I mean, they're solidly built. I mean, Yamaha, the Pacificas, they're not made badly. I'm sure there are some throughout the world that have been made badly, but the ones I've played have always been really solid, like ridiculously solidly built. It's like, you know, Keith Richards, I can hit a crazy fan over the head with it and put it back on and keep playing kind of deal. But yeah, I think they're great guitars. I think they're just really good fun guitars as well. And I think they look cool. They sound great. And the playability of them is great. The necks are fantastic on Yamaha Pacificas. They stay in tune. I like the way the tremolo feels. Yeah, they're just great guitars. They're just great guitars. Like either like say if you're a beginner or whatever, you know, they're just great guitars. Ridiculously comfortable, easy to play. That's all you want, you know. And they sound great, which is really, really cool. And being like a Stratocaster, they're dead easy to mod. If you don't like the pickups, they're dead easy to switch them out and change everything on them basically. So, and I say just having a bolt on neck as well, it just makes it so much easier to kind of like, you know, to swap and change and mess around with parts here and there. So yeah, Yamaha Pacificas are awesome guitars, absolutely awesome. As for when will I demo one, I don't know, because it all depends on when I can get my hands on one. That's what it comes down to. Really, I don't know anybody who's got one really that I can borrow. You know, when that one came in for repair and setup, I maybe should have demoed. I should have maybe asked if I could have demoed that one, but it never entered my mind because, well, I was on a time limit with it. I had to get it done as quick as possible and get it back to him because it was the guy who bought it to me. It was his partner's birthday, like a couple of days later or something like that. I think I forget now, but I rushed it, so I got it done as quick as possible and got it back out. So if I can find one that someone's willing to lend me, or I can find one to buy, you don't see many for sale because they're that good. People just like, you know, to keep them. But yeah, if I can find one for demoing, I'll do a demo on one. But as I say, until I can find one, I unfortunately won't be able to demo it sadly. But yeah, maybe one day, hopefully. I'd love to demo Pacifica. I'd actually love to own a Pacifica because they're really really good guitars. The only thing I don't like is specifically if I'm going to be nitpicky here, which I think I think we're all allowed to be as a guitarist. We're all allowed to be. Everyone's allowed to be a bit nitpicky once in a while. Is that I don't like the headstock on the Pacifica. I think it's a little bit ugly. But be that for what it is. It won't make me go, oh, well, I'm not buying that because of a headstock. I would still go for one. It's just like it's just one of those stupid cosmetic things that we all go, ugh. I mean, it doesn't actually mean anything in the long run. Yeah, if you've got a good guitar, like I say, a good guitar is a good guitar regardless of what it is, regardless of what name's on the headstock, regardless of the shape, regardless of whatever, anything of it. As long as if it's a good guitar and it works for you, it's a good guitar. Okay, so enough rambling on that, but yeah, I do love Yamaha Pacifica guitars. I've played quite a lot of them, and I think they're all... I haven't played a bad one. They've always been really, really good. They've always been very user-friendly and just sound great and respond great and just are great. So they're very great guitars. Okay, so I hope that's answered your question. Moving on to question 6 now. Question 6. Would you recommend getting a boost pedal? If so, would it be possible to get one for under €100? Yes, I would highly recommend a boost pedal. I reckon that's kind of one of the most important pedals a guitarist needs is some kind of a boost for solos, because if you're in not necessarily if you've got a gig where there's a sound guy, you don't necessarily need a boost pedal because they will boost your solos for you if they know where they are, kind of so to say. There have been quite a few gigs where I've been told it looks like I'm air guitaring on stage because they can't actually hear what I'm doing. So I've gone for a solo, and because I can hear my amp, I'm like, this is amazing, I'm loving the sound of this. And everyone's out the front going, well, I can't hear what he's doing, he just looks like an idiot. Joe told me there was a gig where I was like, basically, it looked like I was just basically on stage for no apparent reason other than I was there to air guitar, like a guitar version of Bez. So you always run the risk of that. But even with a boost, that won't matter. You won't pop out if an overzealous sound guy has got control of your sound. No matter what you try and do to pop out, you'll disappear. But if you're like doing a pub gig or a small club gig, and you're not mic'd up, you're just straight through your amp, and you want your solos to pop out, then yeah, a boost pedal is a must. And there's certain different ways you can use a boost pedal. You can have them you can have them in the effects loop. You can have a volume pedal. That's what I do for a boost. I'll talk about that in a sec. But you can have all sorts of different boosts, kind of like line levels to kind of like to kick you a couple of dB up. So when you go for a solo, you go wah, and then you stick out the mix, and then when you're done with your solo, you click it off and you go back down to where your rhythms should be. And there's all sorts of different ways you can do that. It's up to you to find the way you want to do it, so to say. My way of doing it, my personal favourite way of doing it is using the Zoom G2 different patches. So I always have A7 patch set up for my basic rhythm, kind of clean rhythm, whatever it is, kind of sound. So A7 will be like this volume. So that's the volume turned down on that patch. That's the volume on... I have a volume on that patch on 82. Okay, so and then A8 is a solo volume boost. So you'll hear the difference. So if I play the same chords again and go from A7 to A8, now I've got a volume jump. So this is A7, A8. So that's what I use for a volume boost. I'll just use the Zoom G2. And my boost is set to 96. So from 82 to 96, there's a big volume jump there. And also, the really, 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 really cool thing I love about using the Zoom G2 for a volume jump, solo jump, is the fact I can re-EQ the solo tone. Because sometimes when you kick on a boost pedal or another overdrive pedal to kick you louder, your tone can thin out and get harsh. It can get nasty because it's louder. Not necessarily kind of like, you know, a better sound. It can actually add kind of top end to your sound. So what I love about the Zoom G2 having that as a boost is I can then darken the tone and also EQ it in a different way to my main clean tone. So the EQ on A7 is totally different to A8, which is more mid and bass heavy and less kind of bright. It's a lot darker, and as a result it makes for solos be a lot warmer. In contrast to A7, which is a little bit thinner. You know, I've got a little bit more mid, a little bit more low end, a little bit more kind of push in the volume. And that's what I love about the Zoom G2. So that's how I get a volume jump, a volume boost for a solo. Is like I said, I just have A7 quieter than A8. And that's always worked a treat for me, and I love it to bits. It's just one switch. It's just a click and then click back when I'm done. And I can do it, because of where it is on my pedal board, I can do it without looking. You know what I mean? I know exactly where I am with it. So it's really, really cool. It's very easy. Like if I'm playing like a trio gig and I'm singing, say I'm singing Voodoo Child and coming into the guitar solo, I know exactly where it is to kick it on when I need it without having to look. So that's how I volume jump. But yeah, a boost pedal is really, really important for guitarists. I feel it's very important to have some kind of volume jump at your disposal. You might not need it every time. You might actually find, like I have a few times, you'll go for a solo, kick on your volume boost, and you'll just be deafeningly loud. You'll just be like, whoa, and you'll turn it back off and go, right, well, I don't need that. And you've just got to judge that by in the moment, so to say. So, for instance, if you're kind of like going, you know, you've got a solo coming up and you're like, yeah, get ready. And then you kick on your boost and go, oh, we go, oh, hang on a minute, it's a bit loud. And then you turn it off again. You know, but don't stop playing, because I had to stop playing because my plaster got caught under my strings. Excuses, Dave. But yeah, honestly, that's what happened. But yeah, that, you know, you just got to judge that by kind of like going. If you literally go hit your boost and it's like, you know, like, oh, that's too loud, you know, just turn it back off again. Sorry about that, everyone. I've just sold a guitar, so I had to answer the door. Okay, so where are we? Yeah, boost pedals. Yeah, really, really important. Boost pedal for under €100. I mean, there's a million pedals out there that will do the job. A really good one, which gets just gets no press, so to say, is the Marshall Bluesbreaker 2. Not the big black version, the little silver £40 one, because that's got a blues setting and a boost setting. And sorry, I'm knackered now. I had to run around the house trying to get this guitar. Okay, yeah, 'cause it was running away. It was like a chicken. Anyway, yeah, the Marshall Bluesbreaker, the version 2 with the silver box is like £40, which is probably about, I don't know what that'd be in euros, 50, 60 euros? I don't know. It'd be a little smidgen more. But they're great. They are amazing. And the boost setting is like a clean boost. So it bypasses the drive and the tone volume, dial, sorry. And you just got the volume. You've just got volume. And the more you crank it, the more it kind of pushes your amp. So that works really well. And it works really cool in an effects loop as a volume boost. Another thing you could always do is set like a threshold pedal. I suppose that's, I don't really know how to word it, but you could have a pedal that's set like your kind of main clean distortion sound set to a certain level that's either quieter or louder than what you've got. So, because for instance, I always run my jack jackhammer. I have this backwards to everybody else. But my effects chain goes from the amp, it goes to the Zoom G2, to the Governor, Marshall Governor, and then to the Marshall Jackhammer. And because of that, I get a volume jump from my Governor. So this is the Jackhammer. And if I kick on my Governor, it kicks it up a bit. You know, not ridiculously, but it's a smidge there. I'm really quiet. I think I've gone too low on my volume control. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, like I say, the Marshall Blues Breaker is a great boost pedal. People of the tube, help me out here. I haven't gone boost pedal shopping for absolutely years, so I'm a bit out of whack with it. People of the tube, what would you recommend for a good boost pedal for under €100? I don't know what that kind of compares to, kind of like, you know, dollars or pounds wise, but I think it's about, you know, it's just a little bit more. But anyway, yeah, people with a tube, what would you recommend for this fellow to buy boost wise? So I haven't been shopping for a boost since I found out I can do that with a Zoom G2. So I was like, well, I've got my boost. All's well in the world, and I just kind of never looked again. Actually, I tell a lie, because the only time I did look was when I was looking for another pedal board, and I found the Blues Breaker 2, and that was it. And then once I found that one, I was like, well, I've got it. I've got another one, and I didn't really feel the need to look anymore. Like I said, I'm a very content little human being. When I find something that works and works well, then I couldn't care less about anything else. You know, that's what I'll just buy. So like, you know, Marshall Governor, Marshall Jackhammer, Boss DS2, Ibanez Wah, Vox Wah, Zoom G2. I'll just buy loads of them and just keep using them until the wheels fall off. You know, because I'm a creature of habit. If it works, I don't feel the need to experiment. You know, I don't feel the need to want to experiment in the first place. Like, you know, if I've got the sound I want, why do I have to go out and try and find it in something else, kind of thing? It's very strange, kind of. Well, I don't think it's strange, but it's like, you know, if it works, then that's all that matters, really. But I do love trying out new pedals. But like I say, it's like I say, I'm a creature of habit. It has to do what I hear in here. You know what I mean? And what I feel in there. And if it doesn't, then I don't want to know. But most of the time, like I always say, you can find something in everything. No matter what it is, from a Boss Metal Zone to a Klon Centaur. You know, there'll be something in every pedal that will do something for you, that you'll love. You'll find it one way or another. You know, it'll do something. Same with amps, same with guitars. But yeah, people with a tube, what boost pedal would you recommend for under €100? Okay, so I hope I answered your question. Kind of waffled on again, tangent boy. Question 7 now, everybody. Okay, so question 7 is a hard one to answer, because somebody asked, what do you think, what makes Flea and John Frusciante's partnership so special? I don't know. They're just two people who were brought into the world and who were destined to meet and make amazing music together. Yeah, there is no rhyme or reason to why they're so special together and what makes them so special together. They just are. You know what I mean? There's no great answer. There's no explanation to why and what that special thing is that they've got. They just are great. You know, there's just something in those two human beings that when they connect, special things happen. You know, and it's happened throughout history with, you know, Jimi Hendrix and Mitch Mitchell and you know, all sorts of different, you know, Scott Gorham and Brian Robertson, Gary Moore and Scott Gorham, you know, Paul Rodgers and Paul Kossoff, you know, the list goes on. You know, Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, you know, and Keith Moon and John Entwistle, you know, all these people, you know, they all, you know, Eric Clapton and Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker. These people, I feel, are kind of destined by some kind of weird higher power to kind of like to meet and to create. And there is no rhyme or reason for it. There is no explanation for it. It just is what it is. You know, you can't explain it. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is there is no explanation to why John and Flea click. And they are like in each other's heads. You know, they're in each other when they play. John knows what Flea's doing and Flea knows what John's doing. And they always will have that connection and that bond. There is no explanation for that. We don't know why that happens. You know, music telepathy, I'm sure we've all experienced that at some point, where you're so on the level with somebody, on a different level, totally altogether different level of consciousness, that they'll do something and you'll immediately know they were going to do it and react to it accordingly. You know, I mean, how many times have, like, you know, you've been jamming with a friend and you got through a song and you both stop at the same time, and you have no idea why, you just do it. You know, it's that weird musical telepathy thing that happens, and it happens to a crowd when you're really enjoying the music. You know, you seem to be kind of like clicked in with the band. You know, you're one. You are all one. You're all one kind of like little energy, so to say. So to answer that question, well, you can't answer that question. There is no answer to that question. You can't say it's this reason, it's that reason. There is no reason. There's no rhyme or reason why John and Flea's relationship is so special. It just is. It's the same as, like, you know, why was Jimi Hendrix able to do all that stuff and no one else had ever figured it out? It just was. Yeah, Jimmy just was able to do it. You know, why did this, that, and other happen? It just did. You know, as mere mortals, we are not meant to understand the rhyme or reason of certain things. It's just the way it is. You know, there are certain things we will never understand, and we're not supposed to understand, and we're not allowed to understand. You know, why it is. It's just the way it is. You know, that sounds really. I hope this is making sense. I don't know if I'm just waffling on like a rambling goon here, but you know, goon. There you go, isn't it? There's an interesting word for you of today. Interesting word of the day. Goon. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, yeah. There is no reason. There is no rhyme or reason. There is no answer to that question. You know, I debated long and hard whether to actually answer, to try and like bring this question up in the Q&A, because I was like, well, there's not really an answer to that. I don't really know what to say, so I thought I would just be kind of like, you know, to be honest, kind of, you know, to what I think, in the fact that there is no rhyme or reason to why John and Flea have that connection, or why people out of history have had that kind of connection. They just have it. You know, and there's nothing can be done about it. There's no way of, you know, you can't understand it. You can't. There's no mathematical equation. There's no way you can test it in a laboratory or anything like that. It's just the way it is. You know, a lot of playing music, I feel. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna get deep on your asses now. Get ready. Get ready. Tangent Boys coming out full guns blazing now. Okay. So the reason music is so powerful, in my opinion, is because it creates an unconscious thought in your mind. When you hear a song you love, you're no longer thinking about anything other than the music or what that song's making you feel. That's your entire world at that point in time. And the reason for that, we don't know. No one knows. Anybody who says they know is a liar. Nobody knows why music has such a strong impact on human beings. But it does. I would say out of all the art forms in the world, music is, well, to me, is the most powerful. You know, if you look at, like, you know, a really amazing painting or an amazing picture, or read an amazing book or an amazing poem and all that sort of thing, they're really, really cool. But there's something in music that's so powerful that it's an unconscious thing. You don't think about it. And because you're not supposed to think about it, you're not supposed to know. If that makes any sense. Like, you know, don't hunt down things you're not supposed to know about. You know, because you're beyond that road forever. You know, it's like, it's a black hole. It's like trying to nail somebody's guitar tone, like trying to nail John Frusciante's guitar tone. You know, you'll never get it. You'll never nail it. You know, I don't care if you've got John Frusciante's 62 Strat, his pedal board, and his amps. You're not John Frusciante. You will not get that extra 10% that makes his sound him. You can get close, but you can never get 100%. You know, it's You know, and anybody who says they're exactly like, you know, they play like, yeah, you know, you can play exactly like John Frusciante with the exact tone. No, you can't. I've been studying John Frusciante for about 15, 16 years, and I still feel I am 100 million miles away from that man. I am nowhere near. I'll never be able to play as good as John Frusciante. Ever. I know better to play as good as Jimi Hendrix or Rory Gallagher. You know, so eventually you have to come to that conclusion of, like, you know, are you happy with what you've achieved? You know, are you happy with the sound you've got? And if you're happy with it, why are you trying to achieve something else that somebody else has done? Like, my sound, my clean tone is always an approximation of John Frusciante's. That, you know, I always want my clean tone, especially neck pickup on the Strat, to sound something resembling John's. But will it ever be 100%? No. But I don't know. I'm rambling on. Sorry, I do apologise, everybody. I think I'm talking nonsense now. But yeah, coming back to musical connections. Let's drag it back in. It's an unconscious thing. You don't know why you have a connection with somebody. It's like being in a relationship with somebody. Like, you know, you're just drawn to people. And you know why? No, you don't know why. And you don't need to know why. You know, you don't have to know everything about life and, you know, music and guitar and pedals and leads and theory and, you know, what makes things go in history and all this kind of stuff. You don't need to know all that. You just need to be happy. You know, that's all that matters at the end of the day. And if you can just let things like that go and not try and understand it and just let things be what they'll be, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? That is literally all that matters. As long as you can just let things be what they'll be and just take every day for what it is and take every situation for what it is and take every connection you have with somebody for what it is, then that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, that's all we've got. You know, I mean, there are so many unanswered questions about music, life, whatever else, you know, that we'll never know the answer to. And that's totally fine. You don't have to know everything. You know, and you don't have to know everything about guitar to be able to play the guitar. People ask all the time, it's like, you know, what theory should I learn, but I'm happy where I am. It's like, well, don't learn it. You know, don't learn anything you don't want to learn. If you're happy where you are, stay where you are. You know, eventually that might change. And when it does change, then go to it. Don't learn it just because Joe Bloggs down the road says you need to know it. You know, oh, you need to learn how to sweep pick. No, you don't. If you don't want to sweep pick, you don't have to sweep pick. If you don't want to shred, you don't have to shred. If you don't want to play fast, you don't have to play fast. These are not prerequisites for being a good musician. You know, I can play faster than you because that means I'm better than you. No, it doesn't. It means absolutely nothing. You know, music is not a competition. Playing guitar is not a competition. You know, you should never look at somebody else and think, like, you know, well, I've got to get better than them. You know, because that's a destructive mindset to yourself. Because what it comes down to, like I said, is just if you're happy, what does anything else matter? You know, really, at the end of the day, what does it matter? As long as you're happy, nothing else matters. It really doesn't. You know, as long as you're happy. Had to do that, sorry. But yeah, what makes John Flea's connection so great, we don't know. We never will know, and that's the beautiful thing about it. We're not supposed to know. You know, as human beings, it's beyond our pay grade, as they would say in a Hollywood movie. Yeah, we're not supposed to know. We're not allowed to know. It's beyond us, and it always will be beyond us. And that's cool. That's fine. That's one of the beauties of life. Everybody. Okay, so question 8. Oh, no, sorry. You got another bit. Question 7, back to quickly. You also said, can you teach Wet Sand and Zephyr Song Slane Castle solos? At some point, yes, but I will not be teaching just the solos as a Zephyr Song. I'll teach the entire song. I don't like teaching parts of songs. Like, you know, if you want to learn a solo, you need to learn the song. You need to understand the music before you can understand the solos and why and what they are, so to say. You know what I mean? You can't just learn Smoke on the Water riff and that's it. You can't learn the Enter Sandman riff, and that's it. You know, you need to know the whole song. You should always learn full songs. No matter how hard or difficult it is, you should always learn full songs. Never learn just bits. Because there will come a time where somebody says, can you play that song? And you're like, oh, I know one bit of it. You know, and then that's not good enough. You want to be able to play the entire song, beginning to end. You know, end to beginning. You could always play it backwards if you wanted. Bit weird, but yeah. Is there anything else? No, I don't think there's anything else I can talk about there. Sorry if I seem a bit funny today, by the way, as well, everybody. I've had a bit of a trying week, a very trying week last week, and a very trying weekend. I feel a bit dejected, if I'm being perfectly honest. If I come across as a bit down, that'll be the reason. But like I say, you know, try and understand why things go wrong, go right, whatever. It's not for us to understand. You know, you gotta take it for what it is. And sometimes it'll have a negative effect on you, sometimes it'll have a positive effect. Mine sadly had a very negative effect on me. But all will be well. Okay, so question 8, everybody. Final question of the day. This person asked me to give them a shout out. So Karsten, is that how you say your name? I hope that's how you say your name. I don't. Karsten, hello. So hello, Mr. Karsten. How are you? This is your question. Question 8. So question 8 is, why is music so important to you, and what kind of feelings does it give you while listening and playing it? What's your favourite Red Hot Chili Peppers performance where their soul can come through and feel each member's emotions? Okay, so what does music mean to me? Everything. Without music, there's no point in me being here. It's what makes me me. This thing gives me purpose in life, and it always has given me purpose. For 16 years now, this is why I'm here. If this wasn't here, I wouldn't be here. And that's the truth. That's the honest truth. This has pulled me back from oblivion. Let's be over dramatic about it, Dave. No, but seriously though, it's music and the guitar mean everything to me, and that's all. When I found the guitar, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to play guitar and I wanted to make music, and that's all I care about. You know, that's all I want to do with my life, and it's upsetting that it's so hard in this day and age to do that. And I'll probably never get that freedom to just make music and gig. Because this is the way it is in this day and age. You just don't get that freedom anymore. Musicians don't get that ability anymore. You're never going to get it because of the way music has been cheapened by big corporations. Music is no longer about making an album that could change somebody's life. Music is about like, how much money can we make out of this person. You know, and it's sad. It's really, really sad, and it's just ruining everything. And stuff like, you know, being able to do, like, you know, out of an album, just being able to download one song off an album just because you like that one song and you're not so keen on the others is bad, because you're never going to give that album a chance. There could be a song on there that could grow on you and become your favourite song, but because you can just download one song off that album because it's your favourite, or it's the single they've released digitally, you're never going to know that. Like, for instance, like, one of the most meaningful songs to me in my life is Pearl Jam's song Black. And it just means the world to me. But when I first heard it, I wasn't keen on it. In all fairness, when I first heard Pearl Jam, I wasn't keen on them. But, you know, back in the day when I first heard Pearl Jam was like 2003, 2004. I got lent 10. And I just kept listening to it. And something kept drawing me back to Black. No pun intended. But sorry about that, everyone. I ran out of space on the memory card and had to clear it. So I had some dinner in that time. It takes a bit of time. Anyway, yes, what was I talking about? Yes, Black. The song Black. I kept coming back to that song because there was something there. I don't know why. And eventually, like I say, it became one of my favourite songs of all time, Black, and it's one of those songs that means the absolute world to me, like it does a million other people out throughout the world. So, yeah, it's strange, but yeah, music does mean the world to me. It's everything. It's the reason, like I say, it's the reason I'm here. It really is, and I'm not saying that just because it it sounds good, or I think I should say that. I don't know. I honestly believe it's the reason I'm here. I 100% believe I was put here to learn the guitar and play the guitar and make music with the guitar. I have tried so many other things throughout my life, and the guitar makes me feel like I belong. Nothing else has ever given me that feeling of belonging other than the guitar. The guitar just makes me feel like I belong somewhere, like I'm doing something that's right and worthwhile, and it's my best friend. It's my best friend, and I couldn't be without my guitar. It's as simple as that. It's like, I don't want to sound cheesy, but like the guitar is me. You know what I mean? This thing, this piece of wood with wires and electrics in it, is me. It is me, and it sounds silly, but being honest, from an honest standpoint, which I always want to be, that's what it means. It means everything, and the noises it makes mean everything. So yeah, I mean. And you said like what are the kind of feelings does it give you when listening and playing music? Is everything, every emotion under the sun. The guitar does it. It releases anger and aggression and sadness and creates happiness and just makes me feel free. When I play the guitar, nothing else matters. Nothing matters, or other than the music. That's all that matters at that point in time, is just that song and that point in time. Other times when I don't have a guitar, I'm a mess. I need the guitar in my life is stability to me. It gives me the reason to be here and to be happy. The guitar, just the sound a guitar makes me happy. The feel of a guitar makes me happy. The feel of music I can make with a guitar makes me happy. And it vents things that I can't vent any other way. And it just music and the guitar is my life. It's my entire life. Without that, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. That's all I am dedicated to, is music and guitar and the process of making music. That's all I care about. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Just because I'm dedicated to it doesn't mean I can do it all the time and can make a living out of it. I'm lucky at this point in time because of you awesome people. And my people on Patreon and my family, that I am able to do it full time. I'm so lucky, but I am very well aware, and I think I've spoken about this before, I am very well aware that could end tomorrow. And like I say, that thought to me is the scariest, most heartbreaking thought in my life. Just to have to stop. Yeah, it kills me to think that. So, what does music mean to me? The world. Why is music so important to me? It just is. It's like I say, what gives me an identity. I feel the guitar puts me where I'm supposed to be. It might sound really silly. I don't know if it sounds silly, but I'm being honest. It really does. It makes me feel like I belong, and I didn't feel like I belonged until I found the guitar. When I was younger, before I went to school and all the nonsense happened at school, I was happy. And then that came along, and I didn't want to have to talk about this, but I'm going to have to because it is in context. with having anxiety issues and depression issues and generally not being a very stable human being, the guitar is the only thing that, other than a few other things, but the guitar is my main thing to level me out. Yeah, when I was at school, I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. And when you feel like you don't belong anywhere, you go searching for something. And when you can't find anything that's your own, like you feel that, like, you know, yes. Yeah, and you know it when you find it. You just feel it. But when you don't belong and you're trying to find something, it can get you down to the point where you're like, well, if I don't belong anywhere, why am I here? You know, if I don't belong anywhere and I'm not, you know, and I can't find anything I'm good at, and I can't find anything that I can do, why am I here? It made me think that way. I can only speak from my perspective. But, and when the guitar came along, just randomly out of the blue, literally, like I say, my dad and my sister playing that Cajun song in the front bedroom of the house, the world shifted. And then when I started to play guitar and understand it, well, I don't understand the guitar, why I love it so much, and I don't care to understand it. I just know I do, and that's all that matters to me. It's like, you know, I don't know why I love the guitar so much. I just do, and that's all that matters. I don't care to understand. It's not my place to understand. I feel I was led this way, and we're here now, and that's all that matters. And it's enjoy it while it's here, because it won't be here forever, kind of thing. Again, it's depressing, isn't it? But anyway, always a buzzkill is our Dave today. Anyway, what was I saying? But yeah, I don't know. Like I say, having mental health issues and depression issues and not being able to kind of keep my head very level, when the guitar sings, everything goes away. And when I listen to a song that makes me feel something, either sadness, anger, aggression, happiness, whatever, that goes away. And I'm totally free from anything. I'm free from being afraid. I'm free from being depressed. I'm free from anger. I'm free from... I don't care about anything. It's just the music. That's all that matters. That's all that's important is the music. And that's it. That's all. Everyone in their life needs to find something that makes them feel free. And it's really sad to think that some people will never find that thing. And I'm so grateful I found this. Because some people, it's a piece of wood, it's a guitar, it's a tool. You know, and yeah, it is a tool. The guitar is a tool for you to use and in a way. But to me, the guitar is so much more than that. It's undescribable. It's absolutely undescribable. I cannot think of all the words I want to use. I don't have the vocabulary to describe exactly what the guitar and music means to me. There isn't enough words. I'm not even sure the words exist, to be on a bit of a silly side. But yeah, music and creation of music and be able to play music is everything to me. It's the absolute world to me. And it's all I want to do. It's all I've ever wanted to do since I was 16 years old. As soon as I got my Washburn and my PV Rage, that was it. I remember going to a gig at Rock City in Nottingham. I'm not going to say who I went to see because they were terrible. They were an awful band that night. And they were just awful in general. But I'd only just started playing guitar at that point. I don't think I'd been playing very long. I was 16 years old, 16, something like that. And I said to my dad on the way home, my dad took me all the way to Nottingham and drove me all the way home. I went on my own. And, well, I met people there, but I went on my own. Anyway, I said to my dad when I got back in the car after the gig was finished, and I said, that's what I want to do, Dad. I said, I want to do that for my life. That's what I want to do. Because there's just something about that feeling. When, especially live, I love performing live. Live performance is everything. Playing at home, playing in the studio and stuff like that is really cool. But catching moments, it's why when I do intro jams, I do one take, because you capture a moment. It's live. You know what I mean? Fair enough. Like, you know, I've recorded it. You know, you can watch it back. But that's only one take. The next take that didn't happen might be different, and the first take might have been different if I do a first take. But because it's one take, it's a one-shot deal like live, and I love that. You know, none of my intro jams or Untitled have ever been rehearsed. I've just come up with something and gone, right, press record, and away you go. And the same with intro jams. I record a backing track of whatever comes out at that point in time, and I just play over it. And it's just that point in time. It captures a point in time, and that's what live does. And that's all. And like I said, well, as soon as I see bands doing it, I was like, I want that. I just want that. I just want to be able to connect with people on that level. Like, you know, until I'm not here anymore. That's all I want to do, is connect with people on that level and make them feel something through my guitar playing. And that's more important than being technically proficient, knowing loads of theory, having the best gear, or best gear, whatever that means. That doesn't mean anything as far as I'm concerned. Best gear. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it doesn't mean anything. Just because your guitar's worth whatever, it doesn't mean it's better than a guitar that's worth less. You know, if your guitar's worth more, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all about what they feel like. What do they do for you? You know, can you connect with the instrument? And if you can connect with the instrument, can you connect with a crowd? And, you know, and how can you connect with an individual? Can you connect with somebody who's on their last ebb of giving a crap about anything and just wanting to give up, and then they hear you play and it makes them just go, no, I'm going to keep going. Because that happened to me with John Frusciante and Jimi Hendrix and Rory Gallagher and Peter Green. You get to that point where you're just like, I can't do this anymore. And then you hear that and you're like, yes, I can. You know, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's all that matters, is that connection. And that's all I want to do, is connect my music and my guitar playing with people who are just open to it. You know, not everyone's going to be open to it, and that's cool. I don't care. Yeah, if people don't like my guitar playing, that's fine. I ain't got a problem with that. I haven't got a problem. I'm not in competition with anybody. If somebody says, oh, I'm better than you, fair enough. I don't care if you are or you aren't. I don't care. I'm not going to go to bed at night thinking, oh, that person's better than me. They said they're better than me, and I don't care. I'm not in competition. I'm in love with music and the guitar, and there's nothing anybody can do to change that. I'm not in love with trying to be the best guitarist in the world. I just want to be the best guitarist to me, for my own opinion, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, can I do, you know, the best at that point in time? You know, am I connecting with people the best I can? Am I giving everything I've got at that point in time through the guitar? And if I'm not, that isn't good enough, Dave. You know what I mean? Every time I pick up a guitar, I want to be able to do everything I can with it to connect with people, even if they're not even accepting it. I will try everything I can. There's been times where I've done gigs in front of people and they just have not cared. They do not care, but I still try, and I will leave gigs exhausted and dejected and depressed and just fed up and sick of it. But at least in my mind, I've given everything I've got, and that's all that matters. Like, you know what I mean? And that's me. That's what music is. You know what I mean? That is just giving everything you've got, like, you know, to playing, not just running scales, not just running techniques, not showing off, not making your ego and your head bigger. You know, ego is distracting. Compliments can be distracting to some people as well, because some people will get the impression. If they get, like, I've seen it in bands where people start getting compliments of like how good they are, and eventually they're like, yeah, I am pretty good. And then once you've done that, that's it. It's game over. You stop learning, you stop caring, you just think you're the bee's knees, and you're not. You know what I mean? Like, you should never ever think you're better than anybody else. You should never ever think you're worse than anybody else. Just be. Just play. Play whatever makes you happy. Play in whatever style. play whatever, whatever you want with whatever sound, but just play what makes you happy. And if you come across somebody who says they're better than you, then forget it. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. If somebody wants to come up to you and say you're rubbish, oh, you're crap, you're a rubbish guitarist. Oh, I know people who can do better than that. Heard all this before. I've been told all this before. Just go, fair enough. This isn't a competition. This isn't a first place, second place, third place deal. We all have our favourite guitarists who are our main inspirations, but you're not in competition with them. I'm not in competition with John Frusciante or Jimi Hendrix, or in competition with any other YouTube guitarist as far as I'm concerned. I'm not in competition at all. I just play the guitar because I love it, and I play music because I love it. And like I say, all I want to do is connect my guitar playing to my emotions so people can feel what I'm feeling. And in so doing so, if I can help somebody with that who's feeling the same way I do and it gives them hope, then that's it for me. You know what I mean? I don't have to go out there and start learning sweep picking and shredding. I don't have to go out there and have to do this anymore because I don't want that. I want to be able to close my eyes and connect with that higher sense of being that music gives us all. That it kind of has got a little bit lost in popular culture, but that's fine. It's everything. Music is everything. Guitar is everything. It really is. I'm not saying it to be cliche. I'm not saying it because it looks good for a YouTube video. I'm not saying it for this. I'm saying it because I honestly mean it. I like absolutely 100%. I mean it. I want to play guitar for the rest of my life. I want to make music for the rest of my life that connects with people. I am not interested in making music that just shows off technical ability. That it's just literally, look at my technique. Look at me shred. Look at me play fastest in the world. I'm better than this person. I'm better than that person. I'm not interested in any of that. I don't care for any of that. All I care about is being able to be the best I can be when I play. Per song. If there's 12 songs in the set, I have to give 100% every song a night. I've got to. I've got to do that if I feel depressed. If I feel depressed, the guitar playing will come out that way. It'll probably come out lazy, but I'm still giving all the emotion I can for it. There's gigs where I have been so down at the bottom of the ebb, and I literally have stood in front of an amp and let it just feed back on one note. Just like that. Because that's how I feel. And people have gone, that was a row. What kind of guitar solo was that? So that was how I felt. That's exactly how I feel. If it was a horrible noise and it made you uncomfortable, that's how I feel. You know what I mean? That's it. Anyway, I'm waffling, everybody. I'm really, really sorry. I hope I haven't bored you all to tears. I hope some of you are still there. Is anybody in there? I can't tell. Anyway. Deep question, deep answer, I think is the thing there. There's no way I could answer that quick without becoming tangent, boys. There's no way I could answer a question is why music important to me and not go off into tangent land. Quick, to the tangent cave! Alright, I'll turn my amp off now. I was gonna... Tangent boy! Tangent boy! Tangent boy! I'll get sued by whoever wrote that song now, saying, you can't do that! It's Batman, not Tangent Boy! Who is that? What was that noise? Anyway, but yeah, anyway, I've rambled on, I think for long enough about that. Anyway, yeah, you also asked, like, what is your favourite Red Hot Chili Pepper performance where you can hear their soul coming through and feel every emotion? All of them. Even the ones like Saturday Night Live where John Frusciante doesn't care. Even some of the Dave Navarro gigs, and I don't like Dave Navarro as a guitar player. Dave Navarro comes across to me as like he's one of those guitarists who is in it for being a rock star, not a musician. There's the difference, I feel. There's a rock star and there's a musician. You know what I mean? Sometimes the two go hand in hand, but it's very rare. You know what I mean? It's like, you got people like Jimi Hendrix and Rory Gallagher. They embody everything. But I feel some people are just posers. And not saying David Navarro is not a great guitarist. He is an awesome guitarist. It's just that his playing does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. I can't connect on that level, and I need to be able to connect. If I can't connect, I'm not interested. But yeah, I mean, there's so many performances of the Chili Peppers. The ones I saw live at Don Valley in Hyde Park, it was just like otherworldly. So I can't pick one. I really can't pick one. Anyway, I'm gonna have to stop. I think this Q&A's gone on for long enough. I really hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I hope I've answered your questions okay. I've waffled on immensely in this one, so I do apologise if you're all bored to tears and you're all fed up. I am very sorry, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again on Friday. Friday is going to be a non-demo video. It's going to be a talking video again. Sorry, so everybody, to be prepared. I'm going to do a little talking video on John Frusciante, and we'll get to that on Friday. But because I've sliced my finger, I need to let it heal. I can't play guitar too much at this point in time because I want my finger to heal properly. I'm going to have to do a bit of a talking video. So that'll be Friday's video. I'm going to talk about John Frusciante and stuff like that, and a couple of things. And seeing pictures of him recently at the Johnny Ramone tribute thing, it's brought up a lot of emotions. But I'm going to yak on about. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you Friday for another video, everybody, and then normal service will resume hopefully next week when my finger's okay again. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody, and I'll see you again. Have a great morning, afternoon, and evening. Thank you so much for your questions. I hope I've answered them okay. If not, there's foam mallets you can beat me with, but not the face, not my beautiful face. Anyway, yakking on like a loony. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you again. Have a great morning, afternoon, and good evening. Goodbye now.